Okay, so these are the books I'm going to prioritize for the month of November. Oh, sorry about the shadows. I'm like right in front of my light. I don't know if you could hear that. That's my light. Yeah. Okay, so these are the books I'm going to prioritize for November. I want to be a little bit ambitious, and I don't know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I don't want to give myself too much or put too much pressure on myself to accomplish so much in terms of reading, but also the more choices I have, the more likely it is one of them is going to kind of stick to me, to where I just want to read it and read it and read it until I finish it. So these are them. I was just looking through my bookshelf, things that I've been wanting to read, or things that I didn't even know I had on my shelf still. So these are them. The first one is Stephen King, Just After Sunset. These are just short stories. I have no idea what's in here. I never even knew this book existed, so it should be exciting to kind of see. I think I need to maybe start reading more collections of stories from authors that I like. So these are the little stories in here. Some of them are pretty short, others are pretty long. I don't know about you guys, but what do you think? Does anyone like these kind of books that kind of just give you a sense of what's gonna happen in the book? Or do you want like an actual blurb on the back to tell you what is going to happen in the book? This is just a bunch of words over here. Okay, this next one, I really want to give it a chance, but I stopped when I got it maybe about 2 months ago. I tried reading the first few chapters. It's just so freaking dense the way that it's written. So let me show you how it's actually written, and it actually did take me by surprise. Okay, so first of all, we got this note to the reader that's filled with the historical context and notes already. Where it's pretty dense getting into it, and the book hasn't even started yet, or the story hasn't even started yet. So it's very linguistically focused. So this is how every chapter begins, with a definition of a word that I if I'm being honest, I don't even know if these are real words or if they're made for the book words. Let me show you another chapter. So there's sections within each chapter, and again, each section or each chapter begins with a definition and tells you the date, all that. So I think that's why I found it so dense. Like, I didn't really follow at first, or even, I mean, like 30 pages into it, I didn't know kind of exactly what was going on. And then paired with the definitions everywhere. So I think I just need to give this one another chance and give it my full attention, because I kind of just like read it while watching shows at the time. So I definitely think this is a book that needs its own, or needs its dedicated attention. So this is kind of what it's about. Outside world, but before the week is out, both the existence he abandoned and the one he embraced will stand poised on the brink of cataclysmic change, and Erasmus will become a major player in a drama that will determine the future of his world as he follows his destiny to the most inhospitable corners of the planet and beyond. So the actual blurb in the back hooked me on this, but reading the actual text of the book, it kind of took me out of it. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is it formatted like this? Like, this is not at all how I pictured this fantasy story to be. But again, I think I need to give this book a proper chance. Okay, this next one is probably the most grounded one of all. It oh jeez. And I actually forgot I had this. It was kind of buried behind other books that I have on my shelf. And this one is about, let me just read this a little bit. I'm trying to do it where you guys could see it, but I can't really see it. On a sweltering summer day, Makiko travels from Osaka to Tokyo, where her sister Natsuko lives. She's in the company of her daughter Midoriko. I'm pretty sure I butchered that pronunciation, who has lately grown silent, finding herself unable to voice the vague yet overwhelming pressures associated with adolescence. The story of these three women reunited in a working class neighborhood of Tokyo is told through the gaze of Natsuko, 30 years old, an aspiring writer haunted by hardships endured in her youth. Over the course of their few days together in the capital, Midoriko's silence will prove a catalyst for each woman to confront her fears and family secrets. So I'll stop there. Yeah, it sounds. I remember just being so intrigued, having that dynamic of these three women. Well, two women and one young woman / teen. And I don't know. I think I got this when I was in my phase of grounded literature and wanting to just read more of those perspectives around the world, especially outside of the US and Europe. So yeah, I think that's pretty much why I got it. I'm excited to read this, at least. I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited to read this. I was gonna say I'm gonna read the first book and see how it goes from there, but the book one. But no, I think I'm gonna read this whole thing. I think I need to have more literature in my reading habits, and it hasn't been so lately. So the last one on my list is Terry Goodkind's Wizard's First Rule. This has actually been on my lists for the past few weeks or so. I've been wanting to read this, and I did start reading it again. I got to about page 70. So far, very good. I'm sure people out there who are fans of this series can attest to it being kind of like a classic epic fantasy, which I'm looking very forward to. And I just really like how the writing is straightforward. Again, it doesn't really get, at least so far, it doesn't get too bogged down in the kind of the world building that really does push the reader away from wanting to continue, because it's just so dense with everything. And I think this is how this one begins a little bit. And I think for books like this, you kind of have to be the kind of reader just to kind of push through it and spend a little bit time with it and see if you actually like it, and don't really do what I did and read like 10-20 pages and then call it quits. So I'm gonna put some effort into reading all of these this month, yeah, and see what happens. But I'm probably gonna start this right now, just because I could read one of these short stories today and see how it goes, just to keep that momentum for tomorrow. And I think I'm probably gonna take this one to work. Also, this is my dinner. I'm not afraid to cook fish in terms of like cooking it through all the way. I'm more afraid of burning it, and I think I could have done like a little bit more on this. The bottom is okay, I think. Actually, the bottom could have been a little bit more. It's not that crispy. But yeah, just a simple dinner. I've been trying to eat more fish to have the more oils, more omega, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Just because I just always feel so bloated after eating beef and chicken. So, and fish is always so light, and I could do a lot with it. I could just have it with the salad, with rice, which I love, but it's so expensive. Why is it so expensive? So I haven't been to Target in a really long time, and I didn't know how many drinks they had. This one is interesting. The 2 Starbucks drinks are very interesting because I didn't know that these were actually on the market. So after Target, I went to Niles with my mom. We just shopped around, checked out what was happening. It's just a little area with a bunch of shops and really pretty trees. And I have no idea what this cat was doing. I thought it killed something, but it's just a clump of dirt. Of course, I had to stop by Bath and Body and pick up some candles. So at Niles, there's this woman who bakes fresh sourdough. And let me tell you that this is some of the best bread I've ever had in my life. And it was very soft. For sourdough, it was very, very, very soft, which is something that was very unexpected. And when it comes to bread, for me, I'm very simple. I just like it with a little bit of butter or goat cheese. And I'm pretty fine with it. But yeah, I was kind of like completely in awe of this bread. So probably this weekend I'm going to go back and buy some more. I got the plain sourdough and tomato and basil sourdough. So I actually picked up the boox Palma too, just to try it out. I just wanted to try out something very, very portable. I think this is probably the most portable e-reader device on the market. It is running Android, which allows me to download both my Nook and Kindle libraries, which I think is pretty awesome. And if I could turn back time, I would definitely invest in a product like this, an Android-based e-reader. So far, I've been loving it. I'm just gonna set it up right now, and then next week I'm gonna use it as my dedicated e-reader. So it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm making my dogs fatless turkey for the rest of the day as a little topper. They're both on a very low fat diet. You don't like when I say that, boy? And they've been kind of getting bored with the grilled chicken topper that I've been giving them. So switching up to turkey. Right, boy? Right? Right? And once again, I'm going to make myself some instant coffee. So I woke up today, I woke up about an hour and a half ago, and I kind of just stayed in bed doing some brainstorming on my Word doc app, because that's where I write everything. And yeah, just to continue from yesterday, keep the momentum going. I wrote a little bit more about our two main characters and just kind of trying to flesh them out, see what kind of personalities I want them to have or possible backstories. I'm not entirely sure if I want them to have like tragic backstories or anything. I think just for the sake of it, they're probably just going to be your average characters with not a lot of deep history. And I don't know. I just don't want their entire personality to rely on like a tragic backstory or I don't know, just something like that. I just want them to be normal people thrust into this monstrous world and then yeah, take it from there. Very, 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 because I want to write them in a very realistic way, not like whatever you call those characters, the Mary and Ben Sues. I want them to make a lot of mistakes. I want them to get hurt and yeah, just kind of push through whatever I put them through. And yeah, whether or not they live at the end, I think that's something I'll find along the way. But I don't know about this. I got this yesterday, mocha mix. I don't know. I don't know if it's mocha flavored or it's just that's what they call it. So it should be interesting this first sip. Tastes okay. It doesn't taste too sugary. It's non-dairy coffee creamer, original flavor, whatever that means. I mean, it probably has all the chemicals in it, but it doesn't have any sugar. So if anyone wants something light and flavor to add to their coffees, this is it. So right now I'm taking a break from writing my horror book and I'm just looking through all the themes on WordPress on whether or not I want to change my theme. Because right now, I don't know. I kind of like it, but then I also kind of want something a little bit cleaner. But yeah, so I use my WordPress blog. It's just your basic blog. I've been wanting to write more of it, at least one blog a week. And it's just me sharing books that I'm reading, pictures that I've taken, just random things. I wrote a blog about canned tea and how much I like canned tea. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. I don't know about the uppercase though. Oh yeah, this is included with the plan. Never mind. I don't want to really pay for anything. This one's free. But I kind of use my WordPress blog as a in between breaks of writing whatever project I'm writing, and I want to keep kind of just like my mental creativity in check, I turn to my WordPress blog and write there. Again, these are not complicated blogs or anything. This one's kind of cool. Kind of like this one. Okay, so I'm not one to kind of make this a political channel, and I don't really want it to be that way, but I think for certain big events happening in this country, I think it's only natural to kind of talk about it. So yes, I am voting yes on Prop 50. I'm not a big fan of gerrymandering in general. I think it's a bit of a scam and a cheat, and it makes our votes less important depending on just because where we live. But I am voting yes on Prop 50 because it is reactionary. It's not permanent. It only is until 2030, and then it reverts back to the independent board of districting. So I think it's important to take those factors into account when people are looking at Californians maybe voting yes on Prop 50 and how their perspective on things are. Okay, so quick reading update. I did change my Stephen King book of Just After Sunset collection to this one, If It Bleeds. This is another short story collection. I changed it so it's kind of killing two birds with one stone here. I'm currently reviewing this boox Palma 2, and I wanted to read a book going towards my November checklist, and I already had If It Bleeds bought and downloaded, so thought might as well just read this one and get this one out of the way, and also knock off my November book as well for short stories. And yeah, so far I've been digging it, both the book and this actual device. It's pretty cool. I think it's a big upgrade compared to the boox Palma 1. And then you have your dedicated refresh button here, which is very handy. Okay, so I'm going to end my video here with just a quick update on my writing and I guess another update on my reading. Sorry that I'm whispering. I have my nephews over and they're sleeping in the other room. So yesterday I had like a little urge to start writing poetry and reading poetry. So I think that's what I'm going to do this weekend. Just kind of get back into the groove of things, see where this urge for all things poetry leads to this weekend. So I'm gonna take some glances at this one, 100 Poems from the Chinese, and Metamorphosis, both kind of like on the different ends of the spectrum of poetry a little bit. And yeah, I just want to see kind of where everything goes and get back into the groove of reading poetry, because it is going to be one of my New Year's resolutions. So I'm gonna start slow just to get to that point. So next year, I'm reading poetry quite frequently and hopefully daily. Both as like a academic thing, but as a way to harness my poetry more, because I haven't written poetry in quite a while. I haven't read it in quite a while, so I want to get back into that. But as always, I'm going to end this video with a little slideshow, and yeah, anyone who's been stopping by lately, thank you so much for kind of taking your time out of your day just to watch this random vlogs of my mundane, boring life. And yeah, so I apologies for anyone who hates Christmas music, but for the next 2 months or so, there is going to be Christmas music a lot in my video, so be on the lookout for that.